Welcome, you have reached Imperial Reviews, and today's review is Speak No Evil. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So, this is a remake. However, I never seen the original, so I couldn't really tell you to do the comparison. This came out in September release, and so I'm a little late to reviewing it, but let's get it going. So you got the cast: James McCoy, name's Patty. Mackenzie Davis as Louise Dalton. Elsing Francois is as Sierra. Scoop McNairy as Ben Dalton. Alex West Leffler as Agnes Dalton. Dan Hu as Aunt. Chris Hutchins as Mike. And Motis Mahis as Maul. And that's pretty much the cast. So let's go over the synopsis. A family is invited to spend a whole weekend in a lonely home in the countryside. But as the weekend progresses, they realize that a dark side lies within the family who invited them. Now let's get to the story. Now, if you see stories, movies, and get pissed off, this movie will piss you off, and you would say this is ridiculous. And this could be based off of true events. Like when you hear like horror stories, people who go on to who travel, and you know, they say tragic things happen to them, and then they get the story behind like how it happened, and then you hear these type of stories, and then you can say, okay, this ain't just a movie, this is stuff that really goes on. And what I mean is, so you have the couple, the Daltons. So it's the mom, Louise, the dad, Ben, and the daughter, Agnes. So you have them, and they're at a resort on vacation. They see another family, Patty, Sierra, and Aunt. And so right off the bat, you see Patty's like energetic. He's noticeable. He stand out. Meanwhile, you got Ben, who's real laid back. He's reading a book. His wife is there. So Patty pretty much comes next to Ben and say, "Hey, let me get this chair. This chair is taken." He said no. So he kind of made himself known. Now from there, they were at lunch, and like a bromance was going on between Patty and Ben. Like, as if Ben is just this desperate guy that needs a friend. So, right off the bat, their daughter Agnes, she's 12 and she's dealing with some issues herself, and she's still has a teddy bear. She still got a teddy bear, and so you instantly see that's going to be an issue with her still having a teddy bear. Now, she loses her teddy bear, start hyperventilating, and conveniently, the other family finds it. And Patty is driving around in like a moped around the town that they're in. Now, they found the stuffed animal, befriended Agnes and the family, and when Ben came back from looking for the stuffed animal, they gave it to her. And so Patty was pretty much hyping, you know, the ride of being on a moped, and he was like, "Come on, I'll take you on a ride," to a little girl that he never met. That's one. Two, Ben, the dad, and Louise, the mom, let their daughter, who they don't know this man, ride on a moped. That is so much wrong in that. Just it'll piss you off because you're like, is it really people out here that's doing this? That man could have just took even though his wife supposedly and kid was left there, he could have instantly took and just drove off with your kid on the moped. Another car could have swooped in and grabbed the wife and son, and you never see your daughter again. Like that, it make just people people could do things like that in real life, but that just pissed you off. Like, come on, like really? They just did so. All right, they drove around, got past that, and that already is setting the tone for a bunch of another several piss me off moments or whatever. So from there, they befriended each other and they end up meeting each other for dinner. And while they met each other for dinner, they instantly said that the little boy Ant had a condition. Pretty much, he can't really talk that well, and so you knew something was off with that. And he was a doctor. Patty was a doctor, and so he willed them in. And then they, of course, the Daltons start talking about their life and what their experiences are. So I guess on trips, you got couples meeting other couples and befriending each other and conversating for whatever. But you got to be careful because you don't know what mission people are on. So it's okay to just, I guess, be nice in general. But some people are over nice and you don't know what type time people are on a mission, in today's time. So, and this is a prime example of that. And so I think they were telling too much information. So they all went out to, dinner together and they befriended each other and they warmed them up. So when I thought it was great to go down there, so it didn't. The Daltons went home about their business wherever they went, and of course, they give the other couple their address. Sent them a postcard. Say, hey, if you ever want to come out to basically where they live at, countryside, and for the weekend, just to get away, come out, vacation on us type time. So the Daltons is going through family struggles and Ben have job issues and down on his luck. So the Daltons is pretty much like, come on, we need a break. And of course, they go out to these people that they just met. Don't really know no real, just going off a whim. In some cases, you can meet people like that and they be genuine and then y'all could build a friendship. But, this day and time, so they go way out in the woods somewhere and they find this house and they will him in or whatever. And so the kid's been acting weird the whole time. Well, you think he's acting weird, but he's trying to find a way to communicate with Agnes. And he's struggling to communicate with her to get her to understand it. Agnes has issues or whatever with, like I mentioned before, she's still clingy to the stuffed animal. So more change of events start happening where you see Louise has something, a flare up with her neck. You got Patty grabbing her neck like he's a chiropractor, but he's gripping up on her where Ben is supposed to step in and say, like, hey, yo, you stepping, whatever, man, whatever. It was, every man is not like that, so I understand it. But like, please, man, if you're a man and you watch this movie, just do better. Do better. Watch this movie and then say, you know what? If I'm ever in those type of circumstances, I'm gonna do better. And then they get to a moment where they say we're gonna go to a lake. Everybody's undressing down to their underwear, and they just basically like freelancing, man, with the kids and all. Like, so then there's a moment that they want to go out to dinner, and of course, Patty and Sierra pretty much saying, "Oh, this is for the adults, and we're gonna have uh, a local whoever watch the kids while we go to this restaurant." What? You don't know another person you don't know, and you're gonna leave your child with this person? What? Like, what are we doing? You left your child unattended with a person you don't know in a place you don't not familiar with. Like, come on, she did let that. So that's even another reason. Child gets snatched, and they could any easily dip off in a restaurant somewhere. Like, this day and time, man. So, like I said, if you want to be pissed off, a lot of piss off moments, this movie will definitely take it there. And so from there, the little boy Aunt was there, and he was in the house. They were playing hide and seek with the babysitter, and the babysitter was pretty much saying, um, trying to find them. So Aunt was trying to show Agnes, like, look at these watches. And while he was trying to show her these watches, he was trying to say, like, look at the name on the watches. And she couldn't understand, so she wasn't comprehending. Well, he was trying to tell her, like, these watches are not Patty's. Like, it's something going on here. So it got more into it, and different things happened. Eventually, Patty started spiraling when he got drunk. And when he spiraled, he was always putting pressure on Aunt. Aunt wasn't good enough. Aunt wasn't doing enough. And so eventually Aunt was trying to tell Agnes. And what happened is one night, Louise just woke up in the middle of the night. She wanted to check on her daughter. When she went up there, the daughter wasn't there. She went and looked into the room where Patty and Sierra was, and there was Agnes in the bed with Sierra holding her. So of course she got along, grabbed her daughter, grabbed her husband, and said, "Hey, we got to get out of here." And this is before Patty and Sierra recognized that they left. They get down the road. Sierra started panicking and hyperventilating, talking about she left her stuffed animal and she really needed it. And so the dad at first was like, "Well, we get you another one." And she was like, "No, I really need it. I really need it." And start going. They said, "We're having melon." And she started, I can't breathe. Listen. Sometimes flags is there, and you just gotta pay attention. So of course you already know for movie stakes, they turned around and went back to the house, and you sitting there, another piss you off moment, like, really. So when they came back, Patty and Sierra was up, and they wanted to have the conversation on what happened. Sierra pretty much had this story that pretty much she had a little girl. She lost a little girl one time, and she was clingy, and she overstepped her boundaries. She apologized. So they once again willed the Daltons back in and not leave or whatever. So, but they started to notice the Daltons was starting to be suspicious about everything. So Aunt and Agnes made a dance routine. Aunt couldn't get it together, so Patty really outworked herself, and they've all been drinking. And so Patty ended up going upstairs and dozing off. Aunt slipped in his room, grabbed the keys. Then he acted like he was playing catch with Agnes. He threw the ball where it went to like a cellar. And so when it went there, Aunt told Agnes to follow him. He unlocked it. He took her to this downstairs trapdoor area, and inside that area, what it was where Patty and Sierra kept what they were doing. So what they would do is meet families on vacation, lure them in, kill them, take their kid, and then kill the next kid. Kill the kid that they currently have, and then have the next kid waiting or whatever. So they would mute the kids by cutting off their tongues and stuff like that. And so that's what happened to Ant. They cut his tongue off, and so uh, what they would do with the families, they would wipe the families out, wipe their money out and everything like that. And then once they wipe them out, they kill them, and they kill the kid that they currently got, and then get the next kid and take them in. So that's the thing they was doing. They was keeping pictures of it all, and pretty much Ant knew it, took the pictures, and was showing Agnes to understand. So they cleaned everything up and locked everything back up. Ant was able to slip back to Patty and get everything, get him the keys without him seeing. But what ended up happening is Patty went down near that cellar and see like the hay was a little messed up, so that threw him off. Plus, he already knew, he seen the watches. Somebody's messing with his watches. And so Agnes was able to get to her mom, and she made it look like she was bleeding, that she came on her cycle. And so she told the mom what happened, showed her pictures on her phone. And then also from there, she showed the dad. So they get ready to make way. So what it shows is Patty on the phone with somebody, and now Ben and Luis, they got a flat in their tire, so he's dragging it out. And then what happens is on their way rolling out, it shows Patty pushing Ant in the water, and Ant pretty much can't swim. So Ben pretty much was like, darn it, just drive. And so he went in the water to go save Ant. Meanwhile, Patty locked the gate, and so he pulled a gun out and pretty much pulled Agnes and Louise in, and now this is where everything is revealed, and he pretty much told the story what he do, and he pretty much take and drain the people for their money, and then he kill them. And so what eventually happened is they fought their way out. Now, when the fight scenes is happening, Patty is not as like villainous as you thought he would be, as much as he carried on the whole movie. Luis really turned up. Like, Ben is the biggest wuss ever, and Luis is the survivor, because Luis kills Sierra. She kills then what you notice, the guy that had the restaurant, they were actually connected with Patty and them, and because when Patty jumped on the phone, he was calling his buddy from the restaurant, and it was a fake restaurant and everything like that, so they had it set up. And Luis killed his henchman, his goon. She also killed Sierra, and she was like the brave one. Ben was just straight wuss. And what ended up happening at the end, once they finally made it out from the roof, Agnes stabbed Patty with like a needle that had like either was tranquilizer or something that put him to sleep in it. And when it put him he was starting to fade out, they just was gonna leave him there and get gone. Of course, they're not killers like that, but they should have. But as Ant started to walk away, he got over top of Patty, grabbed a rock, and just started smashing him and killed him. So it could be a part 2 where what happens with Ant, Ant becomes, because what he experienced, that's something that PTSD or what he experienced how does that carry over going forward? So overall, just a bunch of piss me off moments. I guess you could say in the end, you got a satisfactory ending. I give this movie out of 4 stars, a 2 out of 4 stars. It's not the worst, but there's too many piss me off moments on there. So it's not a must watch, and it's not rewatchable. So it's one of those movies, if you ain't got nothing else to watch, go ahead and watch, and just be prepared that it's a lot of piss me off moments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.